Is morality possible without God? What a great question. One of the most important philosophical questions in society today is this: is morality actually possible without God? And many people today believe that moral values do not require religion. They argue that human beings can decide what is right, what is wrong through reason, empathy, social agreement, even what they can be. In secular societies specifically, it is often assumed that morality can exist independently of the believing God. But this, to me, makes me just wonder, if there is no God, what ultimately makes something truly right or wrong? And this is a question that has been debated by philosophers for centuries. And I want to talk to you about the problem of objective morality. When people speak about morality, they often speak as though certain things are objectively wrong. Have you noticed that? Like, for example, when you're having conversations with people, most people would say that genocide, slavery, torture are not just unpopular, that they are wrong, morally absolutely wrong. But if morality is simply a human invention, then moral rules become nothing, right? Just like nothing more than your preference or what you think is okay with or what's popular at the moment. But in that case, what one culture calls evil, another culture might call acceptable. And I remember that when I was in school, like when I was in high school or primary school, they showed us a video of African girls who had to go through this sort of like a ritual. They were like, before you become a teen, they kind of mutilate and yeah, they mutilate your private parts. And I just remember thinking like how is that possible? That's so evil, that's so cruel. I was just a kid. How did I know that it was cruel? Because it was torture, right? Because it was putting someone through pain, and I knew that was wrong. And I believe that humans know that there is a higher standard by which to judge good and bad things. And this creates a philosophical problem if you think about it. There is no objective source of morality beyond humanity, right? According to some people. Then morality is just relative. What is right or wrong would simply depend on who you're speaking with. I mean, on their opinion, social agreement. Maybe I think that stealing is good, then might as well just do it. But the law suggests that there is a moral lawgiver. The Christian perspective, my perspective, is that we argue that there are objective values that make sense, that they are just grounded in something greater than our opinion. For example, if moral laws exist, then they must ultimately come from a moral lawgiver. And this idea has been discussed by philosophers such as Immanuel Kant, uh, who argue that moral duty implies a moral order beyond your preference. Another person that I want to talk about is C.S. Lewis. I just love him. He famously described the concept of moral law in his book Mere Christianity, which is a great book, by the way. Lewis explained how human beings across all cultures have a sense of actions that are truly right or truly wrong. And this shared moral awareness suggests that morality is not just invented by us humans. It shows that there is something deeper about the structure of our realities. And the Bible explains this moral law that C.S. Lewis was talking about. There is a moral awareness in a very particular way. According to scripture, human beings were created by God and designed to reflect his character. And that's a wonderful and beautiful thing. And because of this, human beings possess an internal awareness of moral truth. In Romans 2:15, Paul says, "They show that the requirements of the law are written on our hearts, on their hearts." And this means that people instinctively recognize certain moral truths even if they do not consciously believe in God. The moral law reflects the character of the one who created humanity. And that's the whole point of the law. The law reflects God. He gave us an internal compass. And this talks about our limits. Because even though people recognize moral standards, history has shown us way too many times that humans often fail to live up to them. I mean, the 20th century alone witnessed enormous moral catastrophes, world wars, genocides, systems of oppression that caused lots of suffering and pain to so many people. And these events reveal something important. They show us that human beings like you and I, do not, even though we possess a moral awareness, we also struggle with moral failure. The Bible describes this tension as the result of sin. The Bible has an explanation for everything. Human beings were created to reflect God and His goodness, but that image was distorted, and that's how things end up the way they do. And to end this video, I want to say that the question of morality ultimately leads to more important questions than just the nature of what is good and what is right, what is bad. I mean, if morality was just a human invention, then let's just change all the rules and let's just follow cultural opinion, right? But if moral objective values truly exist, then that means that there is a source beyond humans that provided this law. And my worldview explains morality by pointing to God as the ultimate foundation of all goodness. Moral law reflects the character of my Creator. And through Jesus Christ, the Bible teaches that human beings can be restored to the moral purpose for which they were originally created.